The year is 2020. Everyone is cooped up in their rooms because of the global pandemic, which made things hard for a lot of people during that time. But not for me, since it gives me more time to play a lot of video games and try to finish them since I was going to college at the time. But my high school friends showed me a free-to-play game that got inspired from Breath of the Wild to be able to explore the world without restrictions, but leans more anime style, which I like. I was curious about this game that he was talking about. The game I was referring to is Genshin Impact, my first gacha game. I was so hooked onto this game, it feels like I was playing Breath of the Wild again, but this time I don't need to worry about weapon breaking and just enjoy what the game has to offer. After the launch of the game, I've been playing Genshin non-stop for the past month. I remember pulling all-nighters trying to get everything on the first map of the game. However, the honeymoon period for this game kinda hit its rear end because after logging in, doing the dailies, or farming resources to build my characters, it started to feel like a job. Like it takes at least a month to max out a character because most stuff are limited every week. And praying to RNG God that you get good stats for your artifacts. And to put salt in the wound, you are limited to do a lot of stuff per day because of stamina. I am starting to see how bad gacha games can get after dropping Genshin years ago and playing similar games like it. But after playing those games, I started to get burnout from either playing the game or interacting with people talking about it. It's not that I have a bad time, it's that there are problems with the game that will get ignored by the company or by other players saying you just have to wait the next patch or don't play if you complain this much. But after getting back into playing JRPGs last January, I started to drop gacha games because it makes me question why do I still play this game in general. And after some time thinking, there were 3 things that made me drop a gacha game. Throughout this video, I will give my reasonings for the points that I give and explains to why it led me into burnout from gacha games. For most gacha games, they have to figure out what's the best way to monetize their game. All gacha games will give you an option for pulling either the character or the weapon, and all the optional stuff like skins or bundles in the store. You're not forced to spend on the game if you want to. You can treat it like a free-to-play game. The only thing that most players have to deal with is getting the character or the weapon during the patch, so that you can use them during gameplay or collecting all the waifus in the game. When it comes to gacha in these games, but there's a catch. So for example in WoWa, there is a 50-50 pity that once you hit it, you'll either get a 5-star character and have to pull 80 more to get the featured character, or get lucky and get your featured character early. Personally, I don't like 50-50s in gacha games at all because you have to take into account you will lose the 50-50, so you have to save until you reach the game's guarantee. Each patch will give you free pulls for the gacha during the patch, but you have to do everything, even the ones that you don't like, just to get pulls. If you are the type that doesn't spend so much on these games, you have to skip characters to save enough. And that will be fine, but once there's a character that you want, but the battle lasts 3 to 4 weeks long, if you don't have enough pulls before the battle ends, then you have to use real money to get the character. And that's how most companies get you. This happened to me when I tried to get Ganyu during her first release. I remember spending $500 just to get her, since I didn't get a lot of free pulls at the time. After that happened, it kinda made me feel guilty for spending that much. To me, this is little comparing to other people that will spend over $1,000 just to get a weapon.
Spear home. There we go! Right? Pretty fucking... The rates are pretty good.
And that's why I prefer if each banner was 100% and no 50-50, since I know how much I have to spend if I am short on pulls. This is why I often bring up PGR for that reason. Even though they don't make much money compared to WoWa, I do appreciate when a company does that. I do say that when it comes down to the gacha system, is a make or break to continue playing for some people. Like for example, Arknights Enfield just came out and there was a huge drama about how confusing the gacha is. There's some good and there's some bad about it. But from my experience, you have to save to guarantee because they don't have PD carryover. Some say it's a good thing to force people to save, but for me, this is the first gacha game that made me dread on pulling and would avoid it as much as possible. But hey, if people like this, go for it. Just don't be surprised when people drop the game because of it. I do hope that in the future, gacha companies figure out other options to monetize the games to shake things up, because we're still doing the same things since 2020 when Gacha came out. After showing a teaser for upcoming gacha games, it started to make people curious about the game, like talking about how the game looks compared to other gacha games that got released, how similar the gameplay is to each other, and how the characters look inside the game. After the game is released, if the game got popular like how Wuthering Waves did when it got released, there will be a lot of people that will bring down the game and find ways to shit on it. When it comes to fan bases, there is more of a split of positive and negative when being in the community. It's cool that people are able to connect with each other with the game that they're interested in, but there is some negative in being one, like nitpicking a lot about the game because it's popular during the moment, or saying that you don't understand the lore because you don't pay attention to the story. I also recommend you some lore videos on YouTube because you don't understand peak. I can understand both sides when it comes to that, because there will be times that people will spread misinformation about the game, try to route up the community, even though most people that does this often don't play the game, and try to bring drama towards the upcoming game. Negativity attracts a lot of people and get a reaction from the side they don't like, but not having a conversation to try to understand each other's opinion, there will be times when some people take things too far. It doesn't help that some content creators kinda add on to this drama towards other gacha games. Sure, they have a right to criticize the gacha game if they still play the game, but the problem is that every time I see them nitpick so much about other popular gacha games, don't have the same energy with their main game. They often say that I do criticize the game that I like, but never in my life when I see people hate so much about other popular games that they dropped so long ago just to break it down. If you point this out to them, some of them will try to throw insults towards you and say the worst things about you.
Explore some of your A-myth takes, you daughter fucker.
Because you have a different opinion than them. I am at a point that if some CCs acts like how Saint Tontas is, even if you have fair points, I just don't take you seriously. When it comes to games in general, I will be honest when trying them out and give an opinion on it. If I decide the game, I will say my piece on it, then move on. And that's what happened to me with Genshin Impact. There is one thing I will give props to some communities, is that there will be times that the company will do something stupid, either from the game or from the internet. The community will bitch a lot that they don't like because they care so much about the game and don't want people that don't like their game in the first place ruin it. After trying out some gacha games, for the most part, kind of fall into the same problem that makes me disinterested in playing them no more than a month after playing it. When it comes to the story for these games, they often use them to advertise the character for the patch, which I don't mind since most gacha games does this. However, after the event ends, you don't hear back from them again, so it would be hard to stay attached to these characters since this happens a lot. Personally, they should do how Nikkei does their story, like having two modes, one is campaign and the other one is events. Let's use Nikkei as an example. During their campaign, the commander and his crew has a goal is to reclaim the surface. So the story will set around these characters, seeing them going through hardships, getting to know what happened to the goddess of victory that used to defend humanity in the past. And for events, it's like other gacha games. It will be centered around a new or existing character that will be featured in the gacha. Is kind of different because we will have filler patches when it comes to adding like new characters in the game. Sometimes we will have major story events that will add more in the story that happens without the commander there, because there will be times when Shift Up will need time to prep up major story events. So during that time, they will make filler patches to introduce new characters, existing Nikkeis that we never see in a while. and after playing through multiple gacha games, especially open world ones, they often make the story that is similar to what gacha does, but better. However, going through 3 different gacha games at a time, I started to skip the story when a new gacha game comes out. This is not a fault of the game itself, but I'm not waiting for a next patch for the story to get better. If the first impression of the game has a similar problem, I will drop the game and go back to my old gacha games. Even though I often drop gacha games left and right after a month, I do hope that people keep supporting and find joy in playing them. After playing through a lot of gacha games, most of them become samey to each other. Like, you log in, you do your dailies or weeklies, farming RNG gear, and build one of your characters. After doing that every day, it just becomes a 9 to 5 job. And after doing this for 5 other gacha games, I just got burned out from playing them. So I decided to take a break and play some old games for a while. And the game that I was playing during that period is Entria Odyssey Untold for the 3DS. And after putting in 100 hours into playing the game, I realized gacha game makes you wait to do stuff that you want to do, like time gating events, so that they force you to log in to finish it. But I do appreciate when some gacha games cut down the busy work and make the player just play the game. And that's why I am still playing PHR and Nikkei, both for different reasons why I still play those games after 4 years. One is for the gameplay and the other one for the story. And after playing through a lot of gacha games, those 2 are the only ones that I don't drop. Throughout my journey playing gacha games since 2020, there were some negatives and positives when playing them. I might not play more than 2 gacha games at a time. I will still try out new gacha games in the genre, because how our climate is when it comes to game expenses is kinda shit. But I will try them out like any other AAA game. Hello everyone. Thanks for watching the video. It took me a while to make it. Sorry for taking a really long time to upload the video. To be blunt, I got lazy and anxious after uploading my last video. It's no one's fault but myself, so I will try to get better and post more videos, making sure there wouldn't be a huge gap between videos. The next video will be made. I need time to write out my ideas. I hope that you all have a good day. Bye for now.